Hey guys, what's up? It's Alfman here. So it's been a while since my last video, and as you can see, I've changed the background. I didn't really like the black color of my table as a background. I thought it was kind of dark and kind of sad. So as I like basketball, I thought I should put a basketball jersey as a background, which looks pretty nice, I gotta say. Let me know what you think about it. It's a Kobe Bryant jersey, okay, an old model that I got for several years. But anyways, so making this video to talk about this beauty here, which is the Spyderco Military, the CF M390 version that I've been carrying a lot for the last weeks, the last month actually, ever since I got it. So for those who don't follow my channel, the Military is my favorite knife. The regular version was my all-time favorite knife by far, and this one is even more amazing than the regular version. So I'm not gonna make a review of this knife per se. There's already a lot of videos talking about it, and I've already made one like a year ago about the regular version, so I'm not just gonna repeat what has already been said 100 times. I'm just gonna talk about the specific elements of this knife, which is mainly the carbon fiber handle and the M390 steel. So as you can see, I've changed the clip. I've put a black clip because I really didn't like the silver shiny clip that it had out of box. In the meantime, I've ordered a black clip for my Spyderco UK pen knife too, something that I really wanted to do for a very long time, but never took the time to do it, and very nice. So yeah, black clip, much more discreet. I really like it a lot. I wish that they would send me black screws too, but I gotta deal with these shiny screws. So carbon fiber, like I said, on my initial impression, doesn't make a huge difference. The texture is very similar. It looks amazing, alright, way better than the G10. Just to let you compare, this is a Para 2, this is my CF Melee, and yeah, it is gorgeous, truth be told. But in terms of pure function, doesn't change anything, okay, just the pleasure for the eye, just the aesthetics. So I really like it a lot, but it's just for the eyes. Now, the real difference with the regular military is the steel, and the steel is M390. So this is my first experience with M390. This is also my first experience with any super steel actually. So my expectations were high. I've seen a lot of comments about M390, and apparently it is amazing. So expectation was very high, and it went above all of my expectations. This steel is literally the best steel that I've ever used. It's just amazing. It is just amazing. The wear resistance on it is just crazy, you know. So I've done a research on YouTube, and not YouTube, I mean on Google. I've googled the M390, and apparently it's made by a company named Baller, which is an Australian company, and they use this steel, the M390. It's a very high quality steel that's used in the industry for its high rust resistance and its very high wear resistance. So I've seen on the forums that according to the composition of this steel, the corrosion resistance should be superior than what you can find on the H1 steel. And for those who don't know, the H1 steel is the steel that Spyderco uses for their the Pacific Salt, for example. There are knives designed for the mariners and people who work near the sea, so they need a very high rust resistance steel, and this one should have an even higher rust resistance. What else? Yeah, wear resistance is just amazing. So I was kind of worried about the sharpening part. So it is hard to sharpen, okay? Significantly harder to sharpen than Spyderco's S30V that I had on my Melee, the regular Melee, the paramilitary too. This one is S30V too. So yeah, it is significantly harder, and I really wanted to know how it compares with Strider's S30V, because a lot of people say that Strider's S30V is harder, which is true, but in my opinion, so just a little side note here about Strider. An SMG is hard to sharpen for two reasons. Reason number one, the S30V is heat treated harder, so obviously it's gonna be a little harder to sharpen than Spyderco's S30V. Reason number two, which is in my opinion the major reason why an SMG is a bitch to sharpen, is because it's grinded like a bitch. Alright, there's a totally uneven angle. Here you got like 35 and here you got 45. So you gotta make kind of a wrist dance almost when you're sharpening it, and you gotta rotate and make an angle this way to be sure that you're actually touching the cutting edge and not just the shoulders of the edge. So in my opinion, this is the major reason why it is a bitch to sharpen. Not because of the steel, but because of the edge geometry. This one, as usual with Spyderco, is perfectly grinded. So out of the box it was 30 degrees inclusive, and I've put a micro bevel of 40, which is what I did with my regular military. So it was 30 degrees edge and 40 micro bevel, which is probably my preferred way to sharpen my knives. I think it cuts very well, and it also very good edge too. So yeah, edge retention, which is directly related with wear resistance of the steel, is amazing. You know, the first months when I was using it, everything I cut, and immediately I was like cutting the hair of my forearm just to check if it was still razor sharp, and it was still razor sharp, and it was like very sharp for a month and a half. Okay, it took me a month and a half before I resharpened it, which doesn't really give you any indication, because obviously it depends on how often I use it, but I've been using it every day, food prep a lot, and just regular EDC work, and it holds its edge very well. It is very impressive. So just to explain you a little bit how it behaves, because it doesn't behave as S30V, okay? The behavior, the behavior is pretty different, and I'm just gonna explain it a little bit with a crappy handmade graphic. So basically, if you do a graphic, you got here, you got sharpness, and here you got use. Okay, every steel you can put it razor sharp, and the more you use it, the less it gets sharp. Obviously, the less it is sharp. So S30V is, I would say, relatively easy to sharpen, to get to a point where it's razor sharp. Okay, this is razor. I hope you can read it. So this is razor sharp, and S30V and its commonly accepted, and this is exactly what I find from my experience, from my personal experience with SRTV. You get it razor sharp, and then it's gonna decrease relatively fast and get to this point where it is not razor sharp, but you're still gonna have a cutting edge, okay? And the cutting edge will stay a very long time, okay? So it's not razor sharp anymore. You have this point here, and then it's become cutting sharp. Okay, so it's perfectly usable. It cuts very well. It's not razor sharp anymore, but it's perfectly usable, and it's gonna keep its edge for a long time, you know. So that's why people say that S30V holds a good edge. Okay, it is true. M390 behaves differently. M390, you can put it razor sharp. It is harder. The HRC scale on it is 60-62, and it has been measured at 60.5. So for me, any steel that is above 60 is, for me, considered very hard, a very hard steel. Okay, so it's 60.5 is a very hard steel. So it is harder to sharpen than S30V, obviously, and it's gonna behave differently. So you can put it razor sharp less easily, of course, and then it's gonna slowly decrease. Alright, so there is not this kind of inflection point where it's kind of in between the razor sharp and the cutting sharp. M390, and again, this is from my personal experience, okay? I haven't seen any people talking about the actual wear resistance of M390, so this is based on my experience. Maybe it's totally wrong, I don't know. This is just how I feel it because I've been using it a lot the last months. Alright, so you get it razor sharp, and it's gonna slowly decrease to a point where it's gonna take a very long time where it's not sharp anymore, but there is not this inflection point, and it's gonna keep its razor sharp edge for a very long time. Okay, much longer than S30V. S30V loses its razor sharpness pretty fast. M390 does not. It stays razor sharp, and that's what's the most amazing. After like 3 weeks of use, and it's still razor sharp, and it's gonna slowly decrease until you reach a point where it's not razor sharp anymore, and it's not really cutting sharp anymore. Although the military, even when it's dull, stays, I would say, relatively cutting sharp, because it has a very fine blade and a very fine edge. So that's my experience. All right. So that's all I had to say about this guy. This is my all-time favorite, of course, and there is no close second. Honestly, the second favorite is like way behind this knife. It is that good. It is that good. It's just amazing. If you have the occasion to try out M390, jump on it. This steel is sick. You know, I know that Spyderco, they make a blue G10 version of this one with M390 steel. If you have the occasion to get one, really jump on it. I can't say a better word. This knife is just amazing. It's just perfect. You know, for me, it is just the ultimate EDC perfect knife. So that's all I gotta say. So thank you guys for watching. Comments, remarks, anything, you can leave it just right under the description box in the comments. So thank you for watching, guys. See ya.